White House has called the bombings at the Boston Marathon on Monday that killed 3 people, maiming others and injuring more than 100, an act of terror. Thai Foreign Minister declared that Cambodia's statement to the International Court of Justice on the first day of a 4-day hearing on the Pravihir tussle was not beyond expectation, and Thailand can easily counter it. A U.S. military helicopter taking part in a joint South Korea-U.S. drill crashed Tuesday near the North Korean border with no apparent casualties. Catch the latest on the economic beat within the region and stories from around the world with Nathakorn Plodi and Vichitra Dwangdi. This is ASEAN Business Report.
สนับสนุนโดยธนาคารกสิกรไทยบริการทุกระดับประทับใจ
Good evening, welcome to ASEAN Business Report. Today is Tuesday, April the 16th, 2013. You're with us today, I'm Vichitra Dwangdi.
I'm Nathakorn Plodi. Today, let's start off with our leading news. 2 explosions ripped through the crowd at the finish line of the Boston Marathon on Monday, killing 3 people, maiming others, and injuring more than 100 in what the White House official has stated that it would be treated as an act of terror. The blast, a few seconds apart, knocked some runners off their feet and shattered what had been a resplendent spring day, with the state of Massachusetts celebrating Patriots' Day, which commemorates the U.S. War of Independence on the 3rd Monday in April. The video from the scene showed many runners were heading for the finish when a fireball and smoke rose behind the cheering spectators and a row of flags representing the countries of participants.
We were rooting on our friend. We were like, oh yeah, like go, and then it was like boom, and then both of us, like, we've been to Afghanistan. You expect that there. I didn't expect that here. So like I was like, oh, like celebration. So I was like, yeah, like that's awesome. And then everyone started screaming and running towards us, and I was like, dude, what the going on? Everyone was like a bomb, and me and him jumped over the railing and ran down there.
The dead included an 8-year-old boy. A Boston Globe reported, citing 2 law enforcement sources briefed on the investigation. The hospital said in a statement that a 2-year-old boy was being treated with a head injury at Boston Children's Hospital. Investigators found what could have been 5 additional undetonated explosive devices around the Boston area.
And with this, we take further in depth. Joining us live from the Faculty of Political Science, Chulalongkorn University, Dr. Panithan Wattanayakon. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Now, what do you make of this tragic incident? I mean, obviously, the Boston Marathon is a high-profile event, and the whole world was watching. You can call it an act of terrorism or not. With or without agenda, someone was putting on a terrifying show.
Well, certainly, we need to wait for the formal investigation, which of course has begun already in the last few hours. The FBI has been setting up centers and activities looking into that. But of course, I think we different radical groups, both inside and outside of the country, are looking to engage in radical activities like this from time to time. So this is nothing new, but of course, certainly aiming at the international marathon event is quite new in the United States.
Now, authorities have said that they had received no warnings about the attack, but as many as 2 unexploded devices have been found near the end of the course. Does this suggest that Americans have become so complacent about terrorism?
It's problematic indeed. In fact, the most effective way to prevent terrorist activity is to prevent it from happening from the beginning. It means that you depend more on the proactive activities to intercept the situations. Like it means that you need to rely much better on intelligence. In this be a lot of investigation probe into the issue of why the warning has not been issued. But of course, when you have an event like this with 500,000 people participating from all over the world. It's not easy to manage, or it's not easy to have a very effective security measures. So of course this is remain a problem. But of course I think on the other hand the investigation has already begun. We are now learning that there are some devices that have been in the possession of the authority that can lead into a investigation or give the clue to what extent and how many groups are involved. Usually the bombs can tell you a lot more on the type of the terrorist group that are involved in the bomb making.
Thai Foreign Minister declared that Cambodia's statement to the International Court of Justice, or the ICJ, on the first day of a 4-day hearing on the Pravihir Temple was not beyond expectation, and Thailand can easily counter it. Foreign Minister Surapong Towichakchaikun told reporters after the hearing at the ICJ's Peace Palace was completed that the Thai legal team is well prepared and has all the right answers. Cambodia pointed out in court yesterday that it had never accepted the vicinity of Pravihir Temple unilaterally claimed by Thailand as its own more than 50 years ago. Cambodian Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Hor Nam Hong accused Thailand of failing to comply with the court's July 18, 2011 order to withdraw troops from the court-determined demilitarized zone at the disputed border area. The Cambodian Council tried to convince the 17 judges that the application to the ICJ was merely a request for interpretation, not an appeal on the boundary issue, as Thailand had told the court earlier. The Cambodian Council told the court that Thailand had unilaterally delimited the temple's vicinity by claiming 1 square kilometer of land around the temple. They said this was in contrary to the court's judgment in 1962. Cambodian Consul Rodman Bondi said that even though Thailand claimed that late King Norodom Sihanouk accepted its new boundary, the Thai government at the time did not fully implement the 1962 judgment. Though the Thai legal counsel were also at the court yesterday, they only listed to the arguments made by the other side. Thai Chief Counsel Wirachai Palasai and his team will take the floor tomorrow to argue against Cambodia's position.